Welcome to the world behind midnight. Tonight, we uncover something that should have stayed buried. If you're hearing this, it's already too late. 6 months ago, I was a different man. Detective Marcus Chen, Seattle PD, 15 years on the force. Now I sit in a cabin 200 miles from anywhere. My service weapon on the table. Silver rounds in the chamber. Because what hunts me doesn't die from lead. It started on Highway 2, deep in the Cascade Mountains. October 15th, the night everything I knew shattered. I was driving home after a double shift, exhausted, coffee cold in the cup holder, rain hammering the windshield. The call came through dispatch around 11 p.m. Tom's voice crackled through static. Sounding wrong. Scared. Unit 7, we got something strange on Highway 2, near Stevens Pass. Caller screaming. Line went dead. GPS shows milepost 32. I grabbed the radio. Copy that. What's the nature of the emergency? Long pause. Too long, Marcus. I don't know. The screaming. It didn't sound human. And something else. Growling deep. The coordinates put me 25 minutes out. Highway 2 at night is pure darkness. Dense forest. No lights. No civilization. Just you and whatever lives in those woods. I flipped the sirens on briefly to clear the last traffic, then shut them off. The silence felt heavy. That's when I first smelled it. Through the closed windows, through the rain, copper, old blood, and something wild. My training said fatigue. My instincts screamed danger. I rolled down the window. The smell intensified. Metallic and musky, like a slaughterhouse mixed with wet dog, but stronger, older, wrong. Milepost 32 came into view. My headlights caught it first. A dark SUV, Toyota 4Runner, roof completely torn off. Not crushed, torn. The metal peeled back like opening a tin can. I hit the brakes hard. The patrol car skidded on wet asphalt. My stomach dropped. There was no other vehicle, no collision. The SUV sat perfectly on the shoulder, just destroyed. I positioned my car 15 feet back. Spotlights illuminated the wreckage. The white beams showed red everywhere. The interior was painted crimson, dashboard shattered, steering wheel bent at an impossible angle. I stepped out into the rain, drew my weapon, drew my flashlight. Seattle PD, anyone need assistance? My voice died in the downpour. No echo, no response. The silence beneath the rain was complete. No night birds, no insects. Even the forest seemed to hold its breath. I approached the SUV slowly, professional, controlled, but my heart hammered against my ribs. The driver's door hung by one hinge, not broken off, ripped. The metal was torn like fabric. I shined my light inside. Whatever was on the seats made me look away, made me gag. Pieces. That's all I could process. Not bodies. Pieces. But the blood wasn't what stopped me cold. It was the marks on the metal. Deep gouges, 3 parallel lines, claw marks, cut through steel like butter. I'm a detective. I've worked homicides, bear attacks, industrial accidents. This was none of those. I ran my gloved finger along the grooves. The edges were razor sharp, clean cuts through automotive steel. Walking around the vehicle, I found more impossibilities. The rear tire shredded, the alloy wheel dented inward. By teeth, bite marks in the metal rim. I crouched down. My flashlight beam trembled. The impressions were clear. Massive canine teeth. Crushing force. What has jaws strong enough to bite through a wheel? I keyed my radio, tried to keep my voice steady. Tom, I need backup. Multiple casualties. Scene is unusual. Unusual how? Marcus. I stared at the bite marks, at the torn roof. Just send everyone. An animal control. Something big. The rain kept falling, but that unnatural silence persisted beneath it. Then I saw the trail. drag marks leading from the SUV into the tree line, and footprints. My light caught them in the muddy shoulder. I've seen wolf tracks, bear tracks, mountain lion. This was none of them. They were huge, canine-shaped, but the depth, the spacing, the stride length, all wrong. Too far apart for a four-legged animal. The gait was wrong. I followed the trail, gun in right hand, flashlight in left, every instinct screaming to wait for backup. But there might be survivors. Might be. 5 yards into the forest, the smell intensified. Copper and musk, and something else. Something that made my lizard brain scream. The footprints changed. I stopped breathing. They weren't four-legged anymore. They were alternating. Left, right, like a person walking. But the prints were still canine. Wolf paws, with the stride of a man. I whispered into the rain. No, that's impossible. The impression was clear in the mud. A heel, a ball, toes with claws. The structure of a human foot, but covered in fur, tipped with talons. Each step was nearly 7 feet apart. I aimed my flashlight deeper into the woods. Darkness swallowed the beam after 20 feet. What the hell walks like that? I started backing up. Training said never turn your back, but every fiber wanted to run. My light stayed trained on the darkness ahead. My finger on the trigger. That's when I heard it. The breathing, not panting, not huffing. A deep bellows, like a blacksmith's forge, coming from directly in front of me, 10 feet away, maybe less. I froze. Police, identify yourself. The breathing stopped. The silence returned, but different now. The silence of something that just heard me. Something that was hunting. I kept backing up, slow, controlled, one step at a time, until I felt pavement under my boots. Positioned myself behind my car door, cover some protection. I stared into that tree line. Nothing, just rain and darkness. Tom, I radioed. There's something in the woods, something big. I need that backup now. Marcus, what do you mean big? A bear? Negative? I don't know what it is. Then the breathing came again, louder, closer. A branch snapped, heavy, something massive moving. I aimed my flashlight. The beam caught them, 2 eyes. Not the green eye shine of a deer, not the white of a raccoon. Yellow, burning yellow, like hot coals in the dark. And they were high. I'm 6 feet tall. Those eyes were easily 2 feet above my head. They stared at me, unblinking, intelligent. Back away. Police, I screamed. My voice cracked. The eyes didn't move. Then a sound, a growl so low, I felt it in my chest more than heard it. Guttural, from deep in a massive rib cage. It was the sound of pure hatred, pure hunger. The thing stepped forward, out of the tree line, into my spotlight's edge. My soul left my body. It was standing, upright, vertical like a man. But it wasn't a man. A silhouette, enormous, 8 feet tall, covered in dark matted fur, broad shoulders, a head that was wrong, a long snout, pointed ears, standing on 2 bent legs, dog legs, but walking like a person. The legends, the stories, the Dogman, but it wasn't a story. It was there, 20 yards away. The smell of copper and wet fur hit me like a physical blow. I raised my Glock. My hands shook violently. Don't move. The creature tilted its head, analyzing me, judging me, deciding if I was threat or prey. The silence shattered. A click, the sound of claws on asphalt. He took a step forward, into my headlights. My car's beams illuminated him from below. The spotlights from the side. Dark fur, almost black, matted with blood from the SUV. Muscular chest heaving, his legs bent backward like a dog's, but he stood on them, balanced, powerful. His hands, no claws, long black talons, 6 inches each, hanging from hands that looked almost human in structure, but massive, bestial. His snout opened, lips curled back, yellow teeth as long as my fingers, And those eyes, those intelligent yellow eyes looked at me, knew what I was, knew about my gun, and didn't care. I fired. I didn't decide to. My body just reacted. 3 shots, center mass. I'm a good shot. All 3 hit. The sound was deafening in the rain. I saw the impacts, saw fur jump, saw blood spray. The creature barely moved, took the bullets like bee stings. He lowered his massive head, opened that mouth wider, and roared. The sound wasn't animal. It was something else. Metal tearing, 1,000 voices screaming. The sound hit me physically. My car's side window exploded, just from the sound. Glass rained down. I fell back, covered my head. Total panic took over. I dropped my empty gun, scrambled into my patrol car, slammed the door, locked it, turned the key. The engine roared to life. I looked up through the windshield. He was there, right in front of the hood, had crossed 50 feet in a second, staring at me through the glass. Blood dripped from the bullet holes in his chest, and he was smiling, that mouth open in a grin. He raised one massive claw, brought it down on my hood. The metal crumpled like tinfoil. The engine sputtered. I threw the car into reverse, floored it. The car lurched backward. He grabbed my front bumper. I felt the car stop, held by impossible strength. The engine screamed. The tires smoked. The car wouldn't move. That thing was holding 2 tons of Crown Victoria. With one hand, he started to pull. I felt the front of the car lift off the ground. I was screaming. No shame in admitting it. Screaming like a child. I shifted into drive, floored it. The car lurched forward. Metal tore. The front bumper ripped off. The car shot forward, straight at him. I hit him full speed, probably 40 miles per hour. It was like hitting a concrete barrier. The hood crumpled. The windshield spiderwebbed. He rolled up onto the hood, onto the roof. I kept accelerating. Didn't stop. Couldn't stop. Checked the rearview mirror. He was getting up, in the middle of the road. Getting up. The bullet wounds. The impact. He just stood. He lifted his head and howled. A sound that chased me for miles, that I still hear in my sleep. I drove until I met my backup, 5 miles down the highway. My car was destroyed, hood accordioned, windshield shattered, front bumper gone. My sergeant, Williams, found me. Big guy, 25-year veteran. He took one look at my car, at me. Jesus Christ, Chen, what happened? I hit it. I gasped. I hit it, and it got back up. Hit what? A bear, a moose. It walked on 2 legs. Sarge. It smiled at me. The look he gave me. The look that says you've lost your mind. More units arrived. Forensics. Detectives. They processed the scene. The torn SUV. The bite marks on the wheel. The drag trail into the woods. The bodies were gone. Just gone. They found my shell casings. My bullet impacts on trees. But no blood trail from the creature. No body. No evidence it existed. Except the destroyed vehicles. And my testimony, which they didn't believe. The official report. Animal attack. Large bear. Acting unusual. Possibly rabid. The victims were taken. Assumed dead. Case filed. I was put on administrative leave. Mandatory psych evaluation. PTSD, they said. Shock. Trauma response. But I knew what I saw, what I fought, and I knew it was still out there. The nightmares started immediately. Every time I closed my eyes. Yellow eyes in the dark. That smile. The sound of metal tearing. The smell. That copper and wet fur smell. It was in my apartment. On my clothes. In my skin. I showered 4 times a day. Scrubbed until I bled. Still smelled it. My wife, Jennifer, tried to help. Tried to understand. But how do you explain that monsters are real? I started researching, late at night. While she slept, bipedal wolf, Dogman sightings, Cascade Mountains cryptid. The internet was full of stories. Most were clearly fake. Attention seekers. But some some rang true. Truck drivers who saw something cross Highway 2, hikers who found deer carcasses in trees, hunters who heard howls that weren't wolves, rangers who knew to avoid certain areas, and a name that kept appearing in forums, witness accounts. Joseph Blackwood, an old indigenous elder, lived off-grid near Snoqualmie Pass, the keeper of old stories. One forum post said, "He knows about the walkers. The walkers. That's what the Salish tribes called them." I found coordinates to his property through a private message. Someone who claimed they'd seen one too. I didn't tell Jennifer. Just said I needed to drive. Clear my head. The guilt of lying to her burned. But what could I say? Joseph's place was at the end of a logging road. A small cabin. Smoke rising from the chimney. I parked and got out. The forest was quiet. Too quiet. Detective Chen, a voice called, "You're late." An old man stood in the doorway. 70, maybe 80. Deeply lined face. Sharp black eyes. "How did you know I know everything that happens in these mountains?" "The walkers tell me." "Come inside." The cabin was small, but clean. Smelled of sage and wood smoke. The walls were covered in maps. Topographical maps of Washington. Covered in pins. Red pins. Black pins. Dozens of them. "What are these?" I asked. "Territory markers," Joseph said. "The black pins are sightings. People who saw and survived. There were hundreds of black pins across the Cascades. And the red pins, the ones who didn't survive, the ones who disappeared." My blood went cold. There were more red pins than black. I found Highway 2 on the map. Milepost 32 had a cluster of red pins. "That's a hunting ground," Joseph said. "The Alpha's territory. He likes that stretch of road. Easy prey." "The Alpha?" I asked. "The leader, the oldest, the strongest, the one you shot." "How do you know about that?" "I went there, after found your shell casings. Found his blood." Joseph opened a small wooden box. Inside was a piece of dark fabric, and something else. A tuft of black fur, matted with dried blood. The same fur from the SUV, from my car. "I've been tracking this Alpha for 20 years, Joseph said. "He's killed over 30 people. That we know of. Why doesn't anyone stop him?" "Stop him with what? Bullets don't work. You found that out? Their hide is like armor. Bones dense as stone. There has to be a way." Joseph looked at me. "You shot him 3 times. Hit him with your car, and he walked away. You insulted him, challenged him. So, what does that mean?" "It means he knows your face now, your scent, and he doesn't forget." The words hit me like ice water. "You're saying he'll come after me?" "He already is. That's why you can't sleep. Why you smell him everywhere. He's marked you, detective. You're his now." I drove home in a daze. Joseph's words, echoing. "He's marked you. You're his now." When I got home, Jennifer was cooking dinner. Normal. Safe. "How was your drive?" she asked. "Good. Helpful." Another lie. That night, I couldn't sleep. I sat in the living room, my service weapon in my lap, watching the windows. Every shadow was him. Jennifer came out around 3 a.m. "Marcus, come to bed. You need rest." "I'm fine, just restless." She sat next to me, saw the gun. "Marcus, what's going on?" Really, I wanted to tell her, wanted to unload everything. But I looked at her concerned face, her normal, sane world. "Nothing," I said. "Just still processing the accident. The therapist can help. You just have to talk to her." I nodded. Let her lead me to bed, but I didn't sleep. I listened, for breathing, for claws, for him. 2 days later, something changed. I was on the porch, morning coffee. Jennifer inside getting ready for work. The newspaper was on the steps. I went to get it. That's when I saw it. In the duet grass, a footprint, massive canine, right in our front yard. My coffee cup fell, shattered, on the concrete. I crouched down, touched the impression, fresh, from last night. He'd been here, at our house, watching us through the windows while we slept. I looked around frantically. The street was empty. Morning sun peaceful. But he'd been here. I ran inside. "Jennifer, pack a bag. You're going to your sister's." "What? Marcus, what are you talking about? Please, just trust me. You need to leave. Today. I'm not leaving you when you're like this. You need help. I'm fine. I just need some time alone. To work through things. Please." The fear in my voice must have convinced her. She packed. I watched her drive away. Relief and guilt warring inside me. Relief that she'd be safe. Guilt for pushing her away. But I couldn't protect her from this. From him. That night I waited. Every light in the house off. My Glock loaded. A shotgun across my lap. Tactical flashlight ready. I'd replaced the ammunition. Hollow points. Better stopping power. Midnight came. Nothing. 1 a.m. 2 a.m. The silence was absolute. Then, at 3 a.m., I smelled it. Copper, wet fur, coming through the closed windows. He was here. I stood up, moved to the living room window, pulled the curtain back an inch, looked out. The street was empty, but I could feel him. That presence, that weight in the air. I moved to the back door. Kitchen locked, deadbolted, stood there listening, my heart hammering. Then I heard it, a scratch, on the back door. Slow, deliberate, testing. I raised the shotgun, aimed at the door. "I know you're there," I said. "Come through that door and I'll blow you in half." The scratching stopped. Silence. Then a sound from the front of the house, breaking glass. I ran to the living room. The front window was smashed inward, but nothing came through. Just the hole, the cold night air. I spun around, covering both directions. Where was he? A thump, on the roof. I looked up, heard movement. Heavy footsteps above me. He was on the roof, circling. I moved to the center of the room. Shotgun pointed up. The footsteps stopped, directly above me. Silence, long stretching. Then a crash. The skylight exploded. He came through in a shower of glass, landed in my living room. 8 feet of muscle and fur and rage. I fired, both barrels of the shotgun. The blast hit him square in the chest, threw him backward into the wall. He roared. That sound, that shattered glass. I dropped the empty shotgun, drew my Glock, fired 5 rounds. Center mass. He took them all. Blood sprayed, fur flew. He barely stumbled. He looked at me with those yellow eyes, and smiled. He moved faster than anything that size should. Closed the distance in one leap. Swatted my gun away. It flew across the room. His massive hand closed around my throat, lifted me off the ground. I couldn't breathe, couldn't scream. Claws dug into my neck. He brought my face close to his. That mouth opened, teeth inches from my face. The smell of copper and rot, his breath hot and rancid. "Jennifer," I gasped. Her name. The creature stopped, head tilted. He understood. He knew the name. He threw me. I flew across the room, hit the wall. Something cracked in my ribs. He stalked toward me, taking his time. I scrambled, looking for anything, a weapon. My hand found the fireplace poker. He lunged. I swung. The iron poker caught him across the jaw. He roared. I swung again, hit his shoulder, his arm. He grabbed the poker, ripped it from my hands, bent it like a pretzel, tossed it aside. I had nothing, no weapons, nowhere to run. He stood over me, raised one massive claw. This was it. This was how I died. "Come on then," I screamed. "Do it." He paused, that head tilt again. Then something impossible happened. He spoke, not words, but a sound, from that throat. A sound that might have been laughter. He turned, walked to the broken window, looked back at me once, then jumped through, into the night, gone. I lay there, bleeding, broken, alive. He could have killed me easily, but he didn't. He'd been toying with me, This wasn't a fight. It was a game to him. The paramedics found me an hour later. Neighbor called about the noise. 3 broken ribs, puncture wounds in my neck, severe lacerations. They wanted to hospitalize me. I refused. Sergeant Williams came to my house, saw the destruction. "Marcus," he said quietly, "we need to talk. I know how it looks. It looks like you trashed your own house. During a psychotic episode, it was him. The same thing from Highway 2. He came here." Williams sat down, rubbed his face. "The department is going to require you to take extended leave. Inpatient psychiatric care. I'm not crazy." "Then, explain this." He gestured at the destroyed room, the broken skylight, the bent poker. "I can't, but I know what I saw." "Did anyone else see it? Any witnesses?" "No, it was just me." "Then it didn't happen." "Marcus, officially, for your sake." I understood. He was trying to protect me, in his way. "What about the footprint in my yard?" "What footprint?" "I don't see any footprint." He'd already decided, already written the narrative. They put me on mandatory psychiatric leave. 60 days minimum. My department-issued weapon was confiscated. For my safety. Jennifer came back, saw the house, the bandages on my neck. "Marcus, what happened?" "Home invasion. I fought him off." "Who? Did they catch him?" "No, he got away." She didn't believe me. I could see it in her eyes. "The department wants you to see Dr. Morrison, the trauma specialist." "I'm fine." "You're not fine. Look at you. Look at our house." I had no answer. No way to make her understand. She left again. Said she needed space. Time to think. I was alone. Alone with the knowledge that he was still out there. And he'd be back. I spent the next weeks researching. Obsessively. Every Dogman sighting. Every cryptid account. Every indigenous legend. The Walker. The Skinwalker. The Wendigo. Different names. Same thing. Creatures that walked like men. Looked like wolves. Were neither. Older than humanity. Predators who hunted us. I found accounts going back centuries. Across continents. But most came from deep forests. Mountain ranges. Wilderness areas. Places where humans were scarce. Where something could hunt unseen. I read about attempts to kill them. All failures. Bullets didn't work. I'd proven that. Fire didn't work. Traps didn't work. They were too smart, too strong, too fast. But one account caught my attention, from a Salish elder in the 1930s. He claimed his grandfather had killed one, using a weapon blessed by a shaman, a spear tip, made of silver. Silver. The old legends were right about one thing. I started melting down everything I could find. Jennifer's jewelry, my grandfather's silverware, coins, anything silver. I cast crude bullets in my garage, mixed them with lead cores for stability, .45 caliber rounds, hollow points, silver tips. It took 3 weeks. I made 24 rounds, loaded them into magazines, loaded my personal .45 that I'd kept at home. I was ready, but ready for what? To hunt him. Joseph's words came back. "He's marked you. He knows where you live." I didn't need to hunt him. He would come to me. I just needed to be ready. I fortified the house, reinforced doors, put bars on windows, motion lights everywhere, set up cameras, perimeter alarms. Jennifer's attorney sent divorce papers. She wanted out. I signed them. Better for her. Safer. The nightmares continued. Every night. Eyes. That smile. I stopped sleeping. Started living on coffee and fear. My phone rang less. Friends stopped calling. Department stopped checking in. I was alone. Isolated. Exactly what he wanted. It happened on a Tuesday, 6 weeks after the attack. I was in the garage, working on more ammunition. The motion lights tripped. Backyard. I grabbed the .45, silver rounds loaded, checked the cameras, nothing on screen, just empty yard. But I felt it. That presence. I walked through the house. room by room, weapon ready, everything secure, nothing inside. The back door was still locked, deadbolted from inside, but when I looked through the kitchen window, I saw it. A message, written in the frost on the outside of the glass. One word, traced by a claw. Soon, my blood turned to ice. He was escalating, playing, taunting. I ran outside, nothing there, just the message fading in the weak morning light, and a footprint, in the garden bed, fresh, enormous. That night I didn't stay in the house, too exposed, too vulnerable. I took my car, drove to a motel on the outskirts of town, paid cash, no credit card trail, no pattern. Checked into room 117, ground floor, multiple exits. Put the .45 under my pillow, shotgun against the wall, pushed furniture against the door, checked the windows, lay down fully clothed, boots on. Sleep came eventually, exhausted sleep. I dreamed of Jennifer. Before all this, normal life. The sound woke me, scratching. On the window, I opened my eyes. The clock read 3:33 a.m. Scratching, slow, deliberate. I rolled off the bed, grabbed the .45, moved to the window, curtain drawn. The scratching continued, then stopped. I pulled the curtain back fast, gun raised. Nothing. Empty parking lot. My car untouched, but on the window, written in the condensation, "Found you." I fired 3 rounds through the window. Glass exploded outward. The muzzle flash lit the night. A roar answered. From the darkness beyond the parking lot, I ran out, weapon raised, flashlight scanning. The parking lot was empty, but I heard him, breathing, that bellow sound, moving. "Come on," I screamed. "You want me?" "Here I am." Silence. The breathing stopped, then movement, fast. At the edge of my light, I spun, fired. 4 rounds, into the shadows. Something yelped. Pain, surprise. I'd hit him, with the silver. A crash. Something large falling. Then silence. I approached carefully. Following the sound. Found blood. Dark blood. Almost black. Lee, a trail. Leading into the woods behind the motel, I followed. Weapon ready. Every sense alert. 50 yards in, the trail stopped. More blood, lots of it, and something else. Fur, burnt fur. The silver rounds had worked, but he was gone, vanished into the forest. I went back to the motel. Police were there. Manager had called. Someone shot out a window. An officer said, "You hear anything?" "No. I sleep heavy." They didn't believe me, but they had no proof. I packed up. Left before they could ask more questions. Drove aimlessly, until sunrise, until I felt safe again. He'd found me at the motel. Somehow tracked me. Nowhere was safe. Nowhere I could hide. The war had begun, and only one of us would survive. I drove to Joseph's cabin. Needed answers. Needed help. The old man was outside, chopping wood. "The walker came for you again," he said. Not a question. "Yes, but I hurt him this time. Silver bullets." Joseph nodded. "Good, you're learning. But wounded, he's more dangerous." "Why?" "I thought injuring him would make him weaker." "No, it makes him desperate, angry. He'll escalate." "Escalate how?" "He'll take something from you, something you love. Make you suffer before he kills you." Jennifer, my ex-wife. The papers weren't finalized yet. "Where does she live?" I asked urgently. Joseph's expression darkened. "Go now." I drove 90 miles an hour. Sirens would have been slower. Jennifer's apartment was across town. 30 minutes. I made it in 15. Screeched into the parking lot. Her car was there. I ran to her door. 3rd floor. Pounded on it. "Jennifer, it's Marcus. Open up." No answer. Pounded again. "Jennifer." Tried the handle. Locked. I kicked the door. Once. Twice. The frame splintered. Burst inside. "Jennifer." The apartment was dark. Quiet. I moved through. weapon raised. Checking each room. Kitchen, clear. Living room, clear. Bedroom door was closed. A smell came from under it. Copper, wet fur. No, 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 no. I kicked the door open. The bedroom was destroyed. Furniture overturned. Walls gouged. The window was broken. Cold night air blowing in. And on the bed, a message. Jennifer's favorite scarf, torn to pieces, arranged in a pattern, the shape of a wolf. But Jennifer wasn't there. No body, no blood. He'd taken her. My phone rang. Unknown number. I answered. Hello. Breathing, that bellows sound. Then a voice. Not human, not animal. Something between. A growl that formed words. Come, find her. Where is she? If you hurt her, come, alone, or she dies. Where? You know, where. The line went dead. I knew. Highway 2, milepost 32, where it all started. Where he hunted. His territory. It was a trap, obviously. He wanted me there. But I had no choice. He had Jennifer. I checked my ammunition. Loaded every magazine with silver rounds. Grabbed extra weapons, knives, flashlights, flares. This was it. The final confrontation. One of us would die tonight. The drive to Highway 2 was surreal, like moving through a nightmare. Rain had started again, heavy. The windshield wipers struggled. I passed the last gas station, the last light of civilization. Darkness swallowed the road ahead. My phone had no signal out here. No backup, no help. Just me and the monster. Milepost 32 appeared. I slowed, pulled onto the shoulder. Same spot as before. Cut the engine, grabbed my weapons. The silence was immediate, complete. Rain fell, but underneath, that dead quiet, I got out. The smell hit me instantly. Copper and wet fur and something worse. Death, decay. The forest ahead was pitch black. I turned on my tactical flashlight. The beam cut through rain and darkness, illuminated the tree line 50 yards ahead. I'm here, I shouted into the void. I came alone. Where is she? Silence. Just rain drumming on leaves, on my jacket, on the road. Then movement. At the edge of my light, a shape detaching from shadows. He stepped forward, into the beam, 8 feet of nightmare-made flesh. His fur was matted with dried blood. Mine his. The silver wounds were visible, burns across his chest and shoulder, still smoking slightly, but healing, already healing. Those yellow eyes found mine, locked on. Intelligence burned there, hatred, and something else. Anticipation. He raised one massive arm, pointed behind him, into the forest. She's waiting, he growled. That impossible voice scraping from a throat not meant for speech. If you hurt her, I started. Come and see. He turned, walked into the darkness, disappeared between the trees. I followed. What choice did I have? My flashlight swept the path ahead, illuminating twisted roots, dense undergrowth. The trail was clear, broken branches, disturbed earth. He wasn't hiding his path. He wanted me to follow. 50 yards in, 100. The forest grew denser. The canopy blocked what little moonlight existed. My light was the only illumination, a weak bubble in an ocean of darkness. I kept the .45 ready, finger on the trigger. Every shadow could be him, every sound a threat. The path opened into a clearing, small, maybe 30 feet across, and in the center, a structure, not natural, built, a shelter made of branches and bones, animal bones, deer, elk, something larger, and hanging from the branches, like macabre ornaments, scraps of fabric, pieces of clothing, backpacks, shoes, trophies, from his victims. Dozens of them. Jennifer, I called out. Jen, my stomach churned. How many people had died here? How long had he been hunting? Jennifer, where are you? A sound, muffled, coming from inside the shelter. A sound, muffled, coming from inside the shelter. A sound, muffled, coming from inside the shelter. The entrance was low. I'd have to crouch, put myself in a vulnerable position. But I heard her, Jennifer, making sounds behind what must be a gag. I went in, crouched low, flashlight first, then me. The interior was larger than expected. Dug out a den. The walls were earth and roots. And there, in the back, Jennifer, tied to a wooden post, gagged, her eyes wide with terror. I'm here, I said. I've got you. I moved toward her. Started working on the ropes. That's when I realized this was too easy. Way too easy. The attack came from above. He'd been on the roof of the den, waiting. He dropped, massive weight, crashed into me, drove me into the ground. My gun flew from my hand, skidded into darkness. My flashlight rolled, casting crazy shadows. His weight crushed me. 700 pounds of muscle and fury. Claws dug into my shoulders. That snout inches from my face. Breath hot and fetid. Teeth ready to tear. I couldn't move, couldn't breathe. This was it, the end. But he didn't bite, didn't kill. He just held me there, staring into my eyes. You thought you could win, he growled. The words slow, deliberate, mocking. You are prey, nothing more? He raised one claw, ready to end it. Jennifer screamed behind her gag. The sound cut through everything. He turned his head, looked at her. That predatory gaze. The distraction was enough. My hand found something. A rock, sharp-edged. I swung, hard as I could. Caught him across the side of the head. He roared, recoiled. I rolled away, scrambling for my gun. Found it. Turned. He was already lunging. He screamed. Real pain this time. The silver burned. Smoke rose from the wounds. He fell back, clutching his chest. Black blood poured between his claws. I kept firing. 4 more rounds. Into his shoulder, his leg, his gut. Each impact made him scream, made him thrash. The silver was working. Each impact made him scream, made him thrash. The silver was working. He collapsed, on his side, breathing ragged, those red eyes dimming. I approached, slowly, gun still trained on him, ready to fire my last rounds. He looked at me. Blood bubbled from his mouth. This changes nothing, he gasped. More will come, always, more. Then I'll kill them too, I said, and fired my last 3 rounds. Into his head. The yellow eyes went dark. The breathing stopped. The massive body went still. He was dead. Finally, actually dead. I stood there, shaking, covered in his blood, in my blood, barely believing it was over. Jennifer's muffled screams brought me back. I turned, ran to her, cut the ropes, removed the gag. She collapsed into my arms, sobbing. Marcus. Oh God, Marcus, I've got you. You're safe. It's over. We made it out of the forest, back to my car. I called 911, told them where we were, told them to send everyone, animal control, forensics, everyone. When they arrived, when we led them back to the clearing, the body was gone, just blood, lots of blood, and the silver bullets, scattered on the ground where he'd fallen, but no body, no creature. He must have crawled away, I said, wounded. He's out there somewhere. They searched, for hours, found nothing. No blood trail, no tracks, nothing. The official report listed it as a bear attack. Jennifer was traumatized. I was delusional. No mention of the creature, no mention of what really happened. But I know the truth. I killed him, I saw him die, and 3 days later, I received a package. No return address, inside a single item. A tuft of dark fur, and a note, written in that same clawed script. One word, brother. There were more of them. He wasn't alone, wasn't the last. And now they knew about me. The human who killed one of theirs. I sit here now, in this motel room, 6 months later. My hands still shake. The nightmares never stopped. I lost my job, my wife, my home, my sanity. The department forced me into early retirement. Medical discharge, PTSD. The official story is that I had a breakdown, that the stress of the job broke me. They have no idea what's really out there. I sold everything, moved to this cabin, middle of nowhere, off the grid, 200 miles from Seattle, deep in the mountains. I make silver bullets every day, stockpile them, prepare, because I know they're coming. Maybe not today, maybe not tomorrow, but they're coming, to avenge their fallen, to hunt the hunter. Joseph warned me, before he disappeared. You broke the balance, he said, killed their alpha. They won't forgive that. I asked him where he was going. He just shook his head. Somewhere they can't find me, somewhere far from their territory. You should do the same, but I can't run, not anymore. I've heard things, late at night. Movement in the forest around my cabin, breathing, that bellows sound, circling, watching. Sometimes I find footprints, in the snow, in the mud, around my property. They're testing me, learning my patterns, my defenses. I've reinforced everything. Steel shutters on the windows, reinforced doors, motion sensors, cameras, the arsenal of weapons, all loaded with silver. I sleep in shifts, never more than 2 hours at a time, always with a weapon in reach. The isolation is crushing. No phone service, no internet, no human contact for weeks. Just me and the forest, and whatever hunts in it. Sometimes I wonder if I'm going insane, if this is all in my head, but then I find another footprint, another scratch mark on my door, and I know it's real. Last week I found something new, a deer carcass, hung in a tree 50 yards from my cabin, ripped apart, displayed like the trophies in that den. A message. They know I'm here. I checked my ammunition, counted my supplies, reinforced my defenses. This is it. The waiting is almost over. Tonight feels different. The forest is too quiet. That same dead silence from Highway 2. No birds, no insects, no wind, just silence. And the smell, faint but growing stronger. Copper, wet fur. They're here. I can feel it. Multiple presences, surrounding the cabin, not just one, a pack. I load my weapons, check every sight line, every angle. The motion sensors start triggering. 1, 2, 3, 4. They're all around me now. I see movement through the camera feeds, shadows, shapes too big to be bears, yellow eyes reflecting in the infrared. My heart pounds, but my hands are steady. This is what I've been preparing for. One of them approaches the front door, massive, bigger than the alpha. He stops, stares directly at the camera. Those intelligent yellow eyes, filled with hatred. He raises one claw, points at the camera, at me. Then he speaks. That impossible growling voice. Come out, hunter. Face us. I grab my rifle. Silver rounds loaded. 15 shots. Open the front door. 5 of them stand in the clearing, surrounding my cabin. Huge, powerful, ancient. The leader steps forward, 9 feet tall, scars covering his body. You killed our brother, he growls. He killed innocent people. I say, my voice steady. He took my wife. He was hunting. You interfered. I protected what was mine. The creature tilts his head. That same gesture, analyzing. Now, you pay. They attack, all at once, from every direction. I fire. Silver rounds tearing through the night. One drops, screaming. The silver burning. I swing the rifle. Catch another across the jaw. Drop the rifle. Draw my .45. Fire, fire, fire. Another goes down. Smoking wounds in his chest. But there are too many. Too fast. Claws rake across my back. I scream, fall forward, roll, keep firing. A third creature falls, writhing in silver agony. But the leader is on me, massive hand around my throat, lifting me, those yellow eyes inches from mine. You fight well, but you lose. He raises his claw, ready to end it. I have one weapon left, a silver knife strapped to my ankle. I grab it, drive it up into his gut. He roars, drops me, staggers back. The knife is buried to the hilt, silver burning him from inside. He looks down at it, then at me. You are no prey, he growls. You are warrior. He falls, the silver spreading through his body, killing him. The two remaining creatures stop, stare at their fallen leader, then at me, standing, bloody armed. One speaks. You have earned peace. We leave. What? I gasp. You're leaving. You killed Alpha, killed War Chief, proved strength. We respect warrior. They pick up their fallen, drag them into the forest. The last one looks back, but stay away from our lands, or we return. They disappear into the darkness, gone. I stand there, covered in blood, surrounded by destruction, barely believing I survived. The war is over. For now. They respected strength, courage, the willingness to fight. I'm not prey. Not anymore. I'm the man who killed two alphas, who survived a pack. I collapse, exhausted, injured, but alive. The sun rises. Morning light filters through the trees. I've won, paid the price, earned my freedom. But I know I'll never truly be free, because now I know what's out there, in the dark places. The creatures, the monsters, the walkers, they're real, and they're everywhere, watching, waiting, hunting. So if you're driving through the mountains at night, and you smell copper and wet fur, if you see yellow eyes in your rearview mirror, if you hear breathing that sounds like a forge, don't stop. Don't investigate. Don't be a hero. Just drive, fast as you can. Don't look back, because they're real. I promise you, they're real. And most people aren't warriors. Most people are prey. I survived because I fought, because I refused to be a victim, because I had silver bullets and the will to use them. But you might not be so lucky. So take my warning. Take it seriously. The darkness holds more than you know, more than you can imagine. And some things are better left alone. I'm telling you this story, not for sympathy, not for attention, but as a warning, a testament that the legends are true, the monsters are real, and if you challenge them, if you enter their world, you better be ready to fight, to kill, to survive, because they won't stop, won't give up, won't show mercy, unless you prove that you're not prey, that you're the predator, the hunter, the one they should fear. Another story waits in the shadows, another truth hidden in the dark. If you felt the terror, if your heart raced, then you know. You know that some stories, some warnings, are real. Stay vigilant, stay armed, stay alive, because the night is full of teeth and yellow eyes, watching, always watching. Subscribe to The World Behind Midnight before the next story finds you, because in the darkness between rational thought and primal terror, we're the ones who keep the light burning. Stay safe out there, and whatever you do, don't look into the woods when the moon is full.